Can you all hear me? Can everybody hear me who's on camera? They can give me a thumbs up. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Great. Okay, so we're going to record this meeting so that if other people want to kind of learn from it, they can do so at a later date. And hopefully we all can share in the super, super tough job of parenting. And I want everybody first to know that this is a completely judge-free zone. Every parent has made mistakes. Every parent will make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And it is near impossible to do everything the exact right way. You don't know, every kid is different. And so I'm starting this presentation as just like an off point. But if you want to stop at any time and kind of interject, I think at certain time we might have you give your certain situation so we can kind of get to know a little bit of the people who are in here, if you're feeling comfortable, that is. Still admitting a few people, so I just want to try to keep that up. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see that? All right. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, besides that, this is a for sure judge-free zone, because, like I said, parents are doing their best, and there are so many different aspects to this, and there's no perfect way. Every kid is different, and just when you bring in a sport to it, it just gets a little bit more complex, and there's just a lot of issues overall with parenting. So we just hope to share some ideas and learn from it, and hopefully do a better job with our kids. Okay, so first off, hyper-focused on achievement. So I have a perfectionist daughter who said she was going to go to Stanford or she was going to be homeless, which is, obviously very, very opposite ends and not very logical. But I know when she was little, I would focus on what she was doing and, why don't you show me your forward roll? I mean, I was a gymnastics coach, so she needed to show me a forward roll over and over and show what she could achieve. That focus on achievement, I think, wasn't healthy. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about have to do with my experiences, but you may have your own version of that. And maybe you have something that contradicts that because, there's some kids that might have a completely different personality. But when you focus on their achievement and what they're doing and show me this and did you do that and how high can you jump and how big are your muscles, it's sometimes not good for certain personalities. Another version is, what grade did you get on that class? Now, hardly ever parents are asking them now, did you learn a lot in that class? What did you enjoy the most about that class? What stuck with you in that class? Instead, they're saying more, what was your grade? Did you get an A? That's what's important. I need to know you got an A. And a little secret out there, you guys, right now with all the Zoom stuff and online stuff and chatting, there's a lot of cheating going on. So even if they get an A, sometimes it's not the best class and learning environment. So the version in gymnastics is, how did you score or what did you place? And instead of that, we might want to focus a little bit more on, what did they learn, or how did they interact with their friends, or did you cheer on your teammates, or anything about how they acted kindly to and helped the coach, whatever it is, instead of just achievement. So achievement has been really bad for a lot of kids. So okay, so choosing your battles, that's a hard one. There are some parents that I've seen brought up, and they are absolutely adamant about their kids are going to wear these matching clothes. They put their clothes out each night. Some of them I've seen, they put their 6 days out and they're all set for them. So the kids don't get to choose what clothing they wear. But what if they choose something that's totally not matching? The horrors, right? So you want to choose your battles. To me, that would be something you let them choose themselves so that they can express themselves and what they want to wear. They don't look like you would like them to look. That is their choice. So it is a good way to help build their confidence. You want to make sure that they always make their bed, but you know, that's their bed, that's their room. Some people have a rule that if your stuff comes into the middle of the house and makes a mess, that's one thing that you can't do. But if it's in your space or your area, you can do it how you want. Now, there might be a consequence when they can't find something, or you know, if you have people coming over, you may set different rules. But on a daily basis, you make them make their bed. I don't know if that's a battle worth having. But also the old-fashioned battle of finish all your food even if you're not hungry, or you have to eat certain foods even though you don't like them. Those all take away their power and their growth in learning what they want for themselves. So we want to try to build those up, build up their confidence in a lot of areas. And some of these things we take away from them and make them do without them wanting to is not a really good thing. So the last thing is empowerment and control, or having a balance. So we're trying to advocate for these kids, and we want them to advocate for themselves and not feel like they just have to listen to the people. They have to make sense. They have to be able to ask questions. They have to feel comfortable. We want all of that for them. So that starts at home, and we hope that some of the battles you choose are a little bit more important than some of these things. Let's see. Okay, choices. So there was a story that I just heard about a soccer team that when they got to choose the ball that they get to play with, that they did a better job. To me, that sounds ridiculous, but they said it was studied, and that if they get a choice in something, that they do a better job at it. So we want to make sure that they have certain choices, and that mostly when you're raising a kid, that it is led by them. And that can be a little bit tough in a sport like gymnastics when they start really young. And especially if they're moving up in the levels and they get to a higher level and they feel like they've made this commitment to it and they have to stick to it. With my daughter, who I'm a coach, and she grew up here, I inherently made pressure in that it was expected in her mind that she try to achieve. I had an Olympian, I have a successful gym, and she's here all the time and she's really good. So she had to, quote, be a gymnast, which I don't think is a really good thing. You want to make sure that they are making those choices, and that might include you exposing them to other things, because once you're so invested in one thing, it is really hard for them to make that, quote, choice. A lot of parents are like, I tell them they could quit anytime. Sometimes they don't really feel that they can. So I think that's a really important thing, to kind of give them other options and not put all their eggs into one basket, and make sure this is truly their passion, because nothing is worse than a kid who doesn't really want to do the sport but feels they're doing it to please everybody else. It's not a really good thing. So the last thing is about downtime. So some kids need a little more downtime than others. They want to have a little bit more relaxing time. And if they're scheduled out, we have some who do 3 hours of this and then 2 hours of that, and then they come to this and they go to that, and it's a little bit too much on them. So we want to make sure that they feel that they have some downtime to them, and not everything scheduled out for the entire day. And let's see, next. Okay, and then pressure. Pressure to me is one of the worst things that happen. So Simone Biles was a big story, but I don't think it's an accident that it happened at this culminating time. I feel like there was so much pressure. She was listed as the greatest athlete of all time. She had gold on her leotard. She had a coach who was very intense with all the gymnasts in their group. And there's so much riding on the face of the Olympics, and gymnastics was so important for her to do well. And I believe it led to this mental block called the twisties. But mental blocks, if you haven't had a kid who's gone through them yet, it's debilitating for the kid. It's terrible on the coach, and it's really difficult on the parent. There's the hardest things to overcome. Once they start having a mental block, they're very difficult. And the only thing, I've done presentations all around the United States, the only thing that I have ever found to work on mental blocks is relieving the pressure and just saying, I don't care what you do, I just love watching you, and you're just 100% lifting every bit of pressure off of their shoulders. So as soon as you feel that they're getting pressure or they're starting to have any of that mental, just take the pressure off as much as possible. Their low self-esteem, as it'll actually cycle and make it worse. I can't do it, now I'm no good, and now it gets worse, and then it just cycles through that. So the feeling of low self-esteem is another thing. And then my final slide, this is the last slide, and then we'll get to talk. Bad behavior is the language of the wounded. And what that means is I had a kid who was acting out in a lot of ways, and I was going to be the parent that was not going to have a kid act out. You are not going to behave like that. And instead of understanding and being compassionate and learning why she was acting the way she was, I just considered her being bad, or, you know, having bad behavior. She was just being a bad girl. And, you know, it made me go crazy on her at certain times when she did it at the wrong moment. And it was a time where I'm like, please stop, please stop, please stop. I'm getting mad, you know, and she just wouldn't. I just thought of her as just a terribly behaved child, instead of someone who had issues of insecurity and problems inside, and that's why she was acting out. So remember that when you're at your wit's end with any kid, that bad behavior is the language of the wounded. There's something not met there. There's something that makes them feel a certain way, and that's why they're acting out. A lot of coaches do this, and some parents as well, I've heard. Is a kid acting like that just for, quote, attention? And I just don't buy into that just for attention thing. If they are doing it, quote, just for attention, then there's also a need there that's not being met. So if you can look at it in that way, compassion is a really important thing to have when you just think that they are acting out for no reason. And then my last thing, if you're too strict and too much pressure and too high achieving at home, we see it in the gym all the time. They get flaky here and they're just wanting to relax. They finally are in the gym where it's not too, they don't have to achieve to every degree. They get to relax. We don't push kids or pressure them, because the word push infers that they don't have control, and we always want the athletes to have control over what they're doing. So we do not push or pressure kids. We guide, we encourage, we set up our stations, we set up everything for them to succeed if they want to, but they also have choices. They can say they don't want to do it or they do want to do it. But the more pressure there is for them to achieve in a lot of different areas at home, we find that those kids are having more issues in the gym and focusing and making this their thing. So that is it. I will stop sharing. And what I was hoping to do is if we could go around first to all of the people, unmute yourself, and then kind of say who your child is, maybe a level, and if there is anything that in particular that you would like to discuss with everybody, anybody's welcome. I just have so many different topics in parenting. I wanted to do a quick thing and just see more where people wanted to talk about things instead of me always pushing what I think. Kind of wanted to talk about it with all of you. So is that okay with you guys? David, do you want to start?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
So I'm Dave, and this is Daphne. We're Stacy Meeker's parents, and she is just starting in level 2, and she just loves gymnastics, and we're so thrilled about it. So this, she likes to swim also, and she's a very good swimmer. Nothing real formal. She's taken some lessons, but we have a pool, so she just swims like a fish and loves to do that. She's wanting to start playing soccer, so we're thinking about how that would factor in. But you know, Stacy is like super determined and focused and very headstrong. And that's been kind of tough for us because for, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years, she really had problems with temper tantrums and all around her determination and wanting to either finish something or do something her way. And it was really hard for us. It's been, and it still is occasionally, because I love that determination. We love it. And we don't want to try and break her spirit, but getting her to be able to channel it in a productive way without having just a complete meltdown has put Daphne and I in multiple meltdowns ourselves. And you've seen it too, Cassie. I mean, she's had temper tantrums at gym cats where, we just get called like, you're going to have to come pick up Stacy, and it's all because she wanted to be first in line or she didn't want to stop doing something, and she's gotten a lot better with it. And, she had that problem in school too. And she saw like a counselor that taught her like relaxation techniques and how to work on stuff like that. And we'll see her actually do that. So to see her growing out of that is like really, really great for us. She still has them every once in a while, but she's really learning how to channel that, I think, more productively, which is great for us. And, I was an athlete growing up. I was never a gymnast, but I played football, baseball. I wrestled, played rugby for a little bit in college. And so I grew up as an athlete, and my parents were like super supportive. Like they never missed a single baseball or football game the whole time I was in high school, or a wrestling meet. I mean, that's just the way my parents were there, and always just very supportive of me. So that's kind of what we're doing with Stacy, and we're thrilled that she loves gymnastics. And since neither of us are gymnasts, we just like cheer her on and say, good job.
Yeah, so one of the things that he just brought up that made me remember, first of all, when my daughter was going through like these stressful times, I wanted to fix her. And that's one thing he's saying is she's kind of evolving. People don't get fixed. They evolve and change little by little. So if you're having an issue, it doesn't just go away. Like we have this perfectionist mindset, especially in coaching, that, here's something wrong and then it'll be fixed. And even in coaching, we watch a kid fix something or get a skill and then kind of lose it. And then, they train like that as well. So if you could always remember that kids will, they're works in progress, we want to say, as well as adults, people are always changing. So that's one thing. The second thing that he really, that I forgot to mention, the number one book I would recommend everybody read is called Mindset by Carol Dweck. If you have not read that, I wish I had read that. I think every educator and parent should read that. And that book helps you with what Stacy was going through. If you have a goal, you try to help the child reframe the goal. And the goal, instead of I have to get this, it's a growth mindset, which is, did I learn on the process to getting that? Did I make any steps? Did I change anything or learn anything along the way? Even if I didn't, what did I learn from that? How did I overcome this negative situation? Whatever it is. And Mindset by Carol Dweck, I recommend everybody read that. All right. Okay. Go on to the next person. Is it Leilani's mom? Oh.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No, we got it. Yeah, I'm Diane, Leilani Heiberger's mom. She loves gymnastics. She's very high energy. She just has a little bit of shyness. It's kind of hard for me to see why she's so shy. I mean, she loves all the coaches. She loves all her teammates. There she is. But otherwise, she loves gymnastics. She does good in school. She doesn't have anything else that she likes to do. She likes to swim. She does swim lessons. But other than that, I mean, she's doing great.
Wonderful.
Okay. Hi, my name's Brittany Morris. My daughter is Liana Morris. She's 6 years old, and she's been with you guys for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. She loves gym cats so much. It's her favorite. We just started doing 2 classes. And I think it was, gosh, was it before the shutdown or after the shutdown? I think it was before the shutdown. We almost quit. So she's 6. She looks like she's 8 or 9. And she's full of energy, loves everyone. You know, we're working on the sportsmanship part of lesson in life.
Right.
But I mean, she's really she tests us constantly. And she is so smart, and she's so strong and powerful, and I don't want to kill that.
Right.
And it is hard being a parent, and I did almost quit gym cats. And Miss Stacy, she said, you know what, don't leave, let's try something different.
And what was the reason you almost quit? What was there were stresses here, or with her, or what was the reason?
With her, she just wouldn't listen. And this is not the first thing we had issues with. I mean, we were asked to leave 2 ballet studios.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, one thing, just to not beat yourself up, we like kids to fit into boxes that make it easy for the teachers. And that's lots of places, not our gym. We try really hard not to do that, obviously. But a lot of places and schools, they like to have people fit in a box that makes it easy for them. And so the easiest way is shut up and do as you're told. And that is the easiest for the coach or the teacher, and it's not always good for every kid, and they grow and listen at different rates. And so for you to beat yourself up or to say she just won't listen, it just might not be the right time yet. She may get there. So
she has it's been a lot of tears and trying new things, but you guys have really helped.
Yeah, so I had, when I was before I was a mom at all, I would watch 2-year-olds throw a temper tantrum in a supermarket, and I swore that I would never have a 2-year-old do that. And then, as you know, like obviously anybody who's had a child, how stupid that thought was, because you're arrogant in a way. You're like, if they're misbehaving, it's got to be something I'm doing, and it's not. And I mean, sometimes you can stop and spend more time with them, and that will help. But we're stressed, and sometimes we don't have that time. But compassion and stopping what you're doing and trying to talk to them does do a lot of good for the kid who's really struggling and acting out. But compassion is one of the more important things.
Yeah, so I just I need as much help as I can get so she can be as strong as she can through the rest of her life.
My only major regrets in my parenting was when I lost it. And not to say that you guys are not going to lose it on your kids, but that's what they remember. So if you can step away or calm down before you just lose it on your kids, because there's an incident I remember at a regional meet that I should have maybe gotten arrested because she wouldn't stop, and I was like, I'm gonna kill her. And I just could not stop. I was so furious that she pushed buttons to that extent, and that my kid was doing that too. Is like another thing. I was like, I cannot believe I'm asking her to stop. Everybody's at this meet. They're all looking at her. Please stop. Please stop, honey. Please stop. And then she refused, and I just lost it on her. So, but I regret that a lot. And I'm a human being, and I have emotions, so I lost it. But I would urge you guys to try to learn from my mistake. And when you feel like you're at that moment, you go, okay, I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to her and see why this is happening, and really try to understand it instead of react.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. Is Kate there still?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
So my husband and I have 2 little ones. We have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, Griffin and Hazel. So we're kind of early in this process, but they're both very energetic and athletic, and good at a lot of sports. And I know we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have to, like, I want them to try everything and like be able to experiment with sports and see what they like and see what they're good at. But, you know, we want to avoid the situation where we are over programming them and then whatever they're good at, we want to avoid like getting too involved and putting on the pressure and all that. So these are just really important questions that we're already thinking about. And we're so glad you could put this together so we can all talk about it.
Right. No, wonderful. And another thing about that is gymnastics always wants you to commit to it early and intensely. And sometimes that's that thing I'm talking about, put all your eggs in one basket. All the people that all the little girls that compete with Kaylin, who's my elite athlete, they are all 1,000%. A lot of them have moved across the country to go train. They almost all homeschool, so none of them have school experience. They do practice in the morning, school in the middle, and another practice. That is so much intensity on gymnastics, and if it all falls through, it's like it's crushing. So I think it is good to well round, and if it is their 1,000% passion at this level, like this little girl, she's now 15, she's not that little anymore, but if it is their passion, then you let them lead and go, are you sure you want to do this? Because the elite people think they want to be elite gymnasts, but it is not fun. It is hard work. So yeah, it's great when they're little, especially to get them exposed to lots and then let them guide you a little bit more. So that's good. All right, and is it Tokita?
Oh, hello. Can you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
yep, there you are.
Hi. Sorry, I just came in late to the Zoom. So
I did a presentation first that we recorded, so you can watch that later. But we were just kind of introducing like who your kids are, what maybe if you have a concern, or just introducing yourself. If you just came to listen, it's fine too.
Okay. Yeah, I have a 3 and a 5-year-old who are in the classes there. My 5-year-old, she always likes it when she goes, but a lot of times we'll say that she doesn't want to go beforehand. It's helped to have the younger one go, because then she gets excited that they're both going to be there at the same time. Okay. So I think she's done better with that for some reason. But
and if she wasn't going to go, what is it that she wants to do instead? Or
just be at home and play. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we have, I mean, we've taken classes at gym, since she was a baby, really. We've gone there, we've stopped, we've gone back, we kind of have alternated, but we've gotten in a better rhythm with the two of them going. But yeah, it's hard to know, what, how much to have her keep doing something that she says she doesn't like, but then she goes and she likes it.
Right. And that's hard. And there is a new thing with you guys who are young. Because when my kids were growing up, there wasn't this. And this is such an addiction, and it's now on a tablet and on a computer and on your phone. And there's these 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, and it's a problem. It's like such I got to get back to my phone. I mean, I have kids who leave in between and they have to check their DMs, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. But so it is something new for you guys to have to navigate that I did not have to navigate.
Yeah. And it's not even that. I mean, like, we don't even really let her play on the phone or anything. I mean,
no, you're not in that. Yeah, you're not at that.
Yeah, it's just, she just wants to
play.
Get home and play. And that's, I mean, age appropriate, I'm sure. But yeah, that's all.
But just another challenge of like parenting.
Yeah.
All right, Sandra.
Hello.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello. My name is Sandra, obviously, and originally I am from Peru, and so I have a almost 2 years old daughter. She took her second class at gym class last week.
Oh, nice.
She's so new in the gymnast, but she's super active. She loves action, And also, I'm a professional dancer, ballet, and I come from that discipline, that path that I'm very grateful for, because helped me to achieve my goals, like performing in the United States. You know, I used to perform in Mister with Cirque. And so it's something also that I hear and I'm a little confused because when I start ballet, my dad pushed me my first year. I hate it. I was super active. I want to run. I want to dance. You know, I was dancing salsa even before ballet. So like, what is ballet? I'm never dancing there. I hate it so much. I came one time, I cried to my dad. I said, I hate ballet. I don't want to go there. And my dad gave me a lesson. In one way, he told me, you're going to go and you're going to finish what you start. And I didn't have another option. Okay. And I'm so grateful for that because at the end of the year of ballet, I fall in love with ballet. I used to go to recital. My family was making sure I get motivation. I went to see performances. I used to see other grades, you know, advanced ballet classes. And I was like, oh my God, so in love with that, you know, and I want to move like that. So the director, ballet director and the instructor, oh, this is the way. Let's go. Okay. I was like, let's go. And I want to dance.
Right.
So anyway, so I had that pressure in one side. And I don't know how to balance now with my daughter. You know, I like the discipline of dancing or sports. I love the discipline. But more than, like you say, more than the skills, I like to work in my girl, like social skills, be nice to each other, wait for your turn. She won, clap for her, good for you. You know, those little things, enjoying the journey more the achievement, you know. So because I enjoy my journey as a dancer, you know, up and down all the time, of course, but I always was sure that I want to be a dancer and I work very hard for it, but very, very hard. So
Well,
you know,
just a one caution is what your dad did could work out, but there's a risk to it because we have some who are pushed into it, and then you hate for that kid who resents their father because they lost their childhood focusing on something they didn't really want to do. So a little bit, you gotta weigh those two risks.
Yeah, and I want she to be happy, you know, whatever path she chooses and enjoy the journey.
Yes.
And so far, she loves the action. She loves moving. She's playing all the time here. She likes to be rolling in the bed. She doesn't stop. And
we try to play all the way through the ages, but like the preschool needs to play to learn. And we have parents come in sometimes who are 3 and 4 year olds. They have 3 and 4 year olds, and they want to know why we're not teaching them more gymnastics and making them do. And I'm like, they're 3 years old. We do movement and we play, and they want, some of them ask for private lessons, and I'm going, but yours is only 2, so you know we'll get there.
And I like to hear other parents because sometimes you think that your daughter is the only one who bad behave or do stuff like that, and I'm like, this is, you know, it's a learning process for us as a new parent.
And when they're misbehaving, we like to say consequences. So the consequence of that equals this, but not you're bad and being punished. That's the way we should all change when something is going the wrong way. Okay, because we're not doing that, because you were acting like this, we're going to have a consequence today, and maybe we're not getting a dessert tonight, but we will do it next time and maybe do double or whatever. Anything to say, if you are acting the right way, we do fun things, but if not, we can't do fun things because we need you to not disrupt the whole class or whatever it is, you know. So they just have a consequence, but you never make them feel like they're being punished, even though sometimes they will feel that. And if you take a 12-year-old's phone, it's almost like you murdered them. But all right, let me go to the next person. Let me get Maggie.
Hi.
Hi, Meg.
So my daughter is Macy, and she has been going to Gym Cats for probably the past 10 years. She is only 11 right now, but we are entering the middle school tween stage, which all of a sudden my little girl who used to listen to me no longer listens to me for anything. So we're in that kind of power struggle that you spoke about, and picking and choosing our battles and trying to figure out how much freedom we give her and how much control of certain situations that she can make and have the decisions on her own. But, you know, you spoke of those moments where you lose control. And I think the past probably like 6 months, we're in the situation where, okay, you have pushed my buttons so much. I don't know whether I'm going to like leave this house in like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and leave you here by yourself because I'm going to freak out, or like, what's the next step? So it's kind of switched gears really, really quickly. And I think this is probably a pretty pivotal age where that happens. And I can think back to my own, you know, experience at that age, but I feel like it's happening a little bit sooner. I mean, she's only 11, she'll be 12 in a couple of months, but it's really challenging, these middle school years. So I think that I'm just at the start of it, and I kind of want to nip it as much as I can before it kind of spirals to where I can't get my arms around it.
One thing I was thinking as something to try, and maybe if we do these things quarterly, we can kind of check back in to see how it's going. But one thing I was thinking of that we could kind of try, because so many people are recommending people go to therapy, but we all can't get to therapy and all that. But maybe you can kind of do a parent-child therapy session in a way by diving into her feelings and really consistently trying to get her to open up. A lot of kids won't talk to you, but if you can get it to the point where they will, that helps them, because once they can express themselves, I feel like that helps them work through these issues more. And you're not talking at her or telling her what she's doing wrong or what she has to do, because a lot of people do that too, where they come to me with a problem and this is what you need to do, and that's not helpful. You have to try to help them understand what they need to do themselves, so that they start building that power. Okay, when I'm in that situation, I do this and this. I feel like I've learned that myself instead of my mom telling me what to do, and I can't think for myself all the time. But maybe we could try like some more regular, maybe every twice a week or something, or every week if you can't get twice a week, where you sit down and you go, hey, and you kind of dive into talking with her and trying to get her to express feelings. Because I think that therapy is helping a lot of people, and it's just so unrealistic for a lot of families to find a therapist, get to an appointment, and really do it. But this would be like an alternative, maybe. It's an idea.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, coming on.
Did you unmute it? Did you unmute it?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lisa. Don't put me on video.
Okay.
Desiree is my daughter. She is level 8, 9 gymnast there. She's been there for about 13 years, grew up there. We love gym cats. Desiree's had a lot of mental issues, we believe caused by home issues, and she still has those issues, had them for about 7 years. They've gotten better because Cassie and the other coaches have worked with her to help her feel safe and comfortable and still progress in the sport. It's rough. It's hard seeing her struggle, but it's also great seeing her progress and being able to watch her overcome some of those fears.
Yeah. We've been really proud of her. We're actually excited to see where she ends up going, because she did have a severe mental block, and she has slowly gotten skill after skill that she would not be able to get herself to do, even though she's physically capable of it. And she's really made such progression. We're excited to kind of see what she might be able to do, but also know that you and I and everybody else will love her no matter what she does, and we're not putting pressure, because that again makes it worse.
Right.
Talking about it and just even mentioning
true.
goals and all that kind of stuff, that always makes it a little bit worse. So.
Yes, it does. Letting them grow and learn on their own is the best thing.
Right. All right. Thanks, Lisa. And Christine.
Hello.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, I'm sorry. I also joined late.
Okay.
So I missed your presentation, but I appreciate you setting this up.
I have it recorded, so hopefully it all comes out if it records well.
Yeah. I have two girls, 5 and 7, and Cora there. And we started doing kind of just a more fun class right at school that was at their school. And they both really loved the, gymnastics, which at that, they were, I think, 18 months and 2 years old or something. And it was more just following directions and whatnot. So after that, I kind of felt like they loved it and they were ready to move to the next level. And that's why we came to Gym Cats. And now I think they both love going. We go twice a week. And I, like many others, I don't want to be pushing them. Like when they say that they're not interested anymore, I'm not gonna force them to do it or anything. But your community there is just great for them, and the parents and else, they just look forward to being there. So I appreciate that.
Well, that's good.
I'm a little nervous about, at sometimes she's right over there, but at sometimes, there's more of her personality that comes out, and sometimes it's attitude at the 7-year-old age. And I'm nervous about that 11-year-old, 12-year-old, the phones and all that. So
Right.
I'm just looking for anything that can help.
Well, on that subject, that's a really good subject too. Just to let you know, I have a kid who was on team here, and I don't believe wanted to do it, but her mom kind of guilted her into staying in the sport, I believe. And blank personality, no emotions, no communication, no back and forth. I prefer a kid who has the attitude and tells you what they think. So much easier to work with. Most people will not prefer that. Most coaches will prefer the, do as I say and just shut up and don't cause me any problems. But
Yeah.
we really are trying to get me and the coaches here to serve the athlete. So how do we know how to serve you best if you're not even able to interact with us? Or tell us what you really like, or what you're really afraid of, or what you really want to do, or what your goals are. If you're too much of a soldier, like I stand in line, okay. We want people to be people. So what I think a lot of parents have trouble with, which I did, is if the kid shows an attitude or acts up, or it embarrasses us. And I think we all need to let go of that. Really, because and people judge you. I get it. People have been judgy about how my kid acted or whatever. But it's really not a good, healthy way to parent based on the fear of what somebody else is going to think of you. Hey, my kid's going through a rough time right now, or my kid has attitudes because she's expressing herself and learning how to communicate and not show an attitude. But, we're working with her on that. Don't judge me. Shut up.
Yeah, I think just letting her be who she is, and I'm here for her no matter what kind of attitude she gives me. But there's only so much you take. You don't want to.
I get it. We're not like, I'm not the type that just says, "Oh yeah, everybody do whatever you want," and
Yeah.
I get it. We all have to have our guidelines and rules, and actually, kids like that. They like to know what to expect. They like a regular schedule. They will complain and whatever, but they like to have a structure in their day and in their life, and know the boundaries. Kids do not do well with a free for all, like I get to do whatever I want anytime I want. So it is a balance. So a lot of coaches in the coaching community, when we talk about being athlete led, they freak out. Then they'll never condition. No gymnast wants to condition. If I let them do whatever they want, they'll never condition. I'm like, no, that's not true. Number one. Number two, we're talking about letting them guide the process of how hard they work or what skill they're afraid of, and speaking up and all that. And they just don't want to give up that control, a lot of coaches. So at Gym Cats and Desert Gym Cats, we're really trying hard to make sure that they know they have full veto power on whatever you're doing. I don't want to condition today. That's okay. You come communicate why respectfully. And then we maybe think of a different activity or something else for that day. But you don't just not do it and disregard and not respect the coach, So we're trying to teach them, but it's normal attitudes are normal, and the kid who's a robot, that to me is not normal and not good for them, because you're not speaking up or advocating for yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, I just
Don't
have to
be
find
embarrassed.
that line. So thank
Yes,
you.
yes, it is very difficult. Does anybody else have anything, since we kind of went around the room? I thought that was really good. I mean, that was, it's about 55 minutes right now, and I didn't know if anybody else has anything they want to ask or talk about before we leave, but I was thinking of trying to do these once a quarter, so every 3 months if we can, and then try to get this out. I've been making lots of phone calls to parents and discussing these kinds of things over and over again, and I was like, maybe if I get it and get some recordings, I could send them out when they're having issues, and people can learn from them that way. I don't know if they will, but that I would try. Does anybody have anything?
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
welcome. No problem. I appreciate it.
I'll be here for these, and you'll be
I
seeing
mean,
more of her.
We think it's a triangle that's so important: the coach, the athlete, and the parent. It's such an important triangle that if one isn't on board with the right thing, we do have issues. So we want to try to educate. And I was a parent coach / which I will recommend no one ever do. Never coach your own child. Worst idea ever. I should have, if I would redo it, I would not do that. I would have other people coach her all the time. But you know, it's an important triangle, and your role as parents is to be that cheerleader that just loves and supports them as much as possible while you guide them. But you do not need to help them get a better score here or achieve more here or try harder there. That really needs to be up to them, and then the coach is helping them with corrections and guiding.